Keith Myers here. I wanted to talk about an idea or concept in Wing Chun. Sometimes it's been called the 3 seeds of Wing Chun. I've also seen it called the 3 families of Wing Chun techniques. And they're referring to Bong, Tan, and Phuc, the 3 seeds of Wing Chun. So what does this mean? Not all lineages, it seems, use this concept or this designation, but some do. I've heard it from more than one place. The most obvious, the 3 seeds of Wing Chun, the most obvious superficial, well, the 3 main techniques of Wing Chun are Tan, Bong, and Phuc, because they make up Chi Sao, our 3 Chi Sao positions, Tan Sao, Bong Sao, Phuc Sao. That would seem pretty obvious, but then that would mean Chi Sao is all of Wing Chun, since they're the 3 seeds of Wing Chun. So that doesn't really hold up, only on a kind of a superficial level. It's also been described as, well, it's the hallmarks of Wing Chun. That's what Wing Chun techniques, they're recognizable. Okay, but again, that's kind of superficial. It still doesn't really make up a seed or a family. Now, the way I originally learned it, it was said that these 3 seeds of Wing Chun, these 3 families of techniques, were based on kind of where the technique contacted. Things that contacted on the thumb side of the forearm were Tan Sao family. Things that contacted on the pinky side of the forearm were Bong Sao family. And things that contacted on the palmar side of the forearm were Phuc Sao family. Well, I never found that to be too satisfactory. For instance, thumb side, Tan Sao, but then Gan Sao to me is almost like a low-line Tan Sao, but that would be Bong Sao family. And it's nothing like a Bong Sao, but it would be Bong Sao family because it's the pinky side of the forearm. Okay? Some people do a Jut Sao like this, which would be the pinky side of the forearm, which would make it Bong Sao family. And some people do a Jut Sao like this, using more of the forearm, which would make it the forearm side of the palmar side of the forearm, which would make it Phuc Sao family. So, which is it? So that kind of designation just never made sense to me. So I think I've been thinking about it more lately. Some lineages talk about the concept of the technique, like a Tan Sao concept, without really going into the whole 3 seeds or 3 families. But if we kind of combine these two, then it starts to make more sense. If we think of it as a Tan Sao concept, so it's a Tan Sao family or seed. The concept is the seed for that family. Same way the Phuc Sao concept or the Bong Sao concept. So let's explore what that means, okay? The first section of the Sulam Tao form, we're learning the elbow line. Everybody knows this first section, right? We're coming out on the center. We're coming back. We learn Tan Sao. We learn the Phuc Sao. Coming back with Wu Sao. But what you're really learning is that elbow line, that pathway, forward and back. Forward and back. And you see that with Tan Sao, I'm coming on the elbow line, but then my elbow is directing my hand outward, right? So the energy on the elbow line is outward. With the Phuc Sao family, I'm still using the same elbow line, but instead of going this direction, I'm going this direction. So Phuc Sao family, the energy is directed inward, right? Phuc Sao means a subduing hand because it's generally on top. It's also sometimes called a cover hand. It's usually the top position, and it's going towards my center. Tan Sao is a spreading hand because it uses the surface of the forearm to spread outward. It's going away from my center. But both are using that elbow line, right? The elbow line. Tan Sao away from center, Phuc Sao towards center. That's the concept here, okay? So, in that sense, then you think, okay, so what does the Tan Sao family of techniques mean? What Tan Sao is the seed of what? Tan Sao family concept is things that are following the elbow line but going away from center. So that includes Tan Sao. That includes a Gan Sao, right? My elbow's still in the same position. It's going away. It technically would include Wu Sao because my elbow is directing on the elbow line, but I'm directing away from my center. That's all Tan Sao family. Phuc Sao family is directing inward towards my center. So, and remember, we're usually taught that Phuc Sao is not a technique. My hand is doing nothing. My hand is interchangeable. I could take my hand off and put a different tool on there. So that Fuxao concept is the forearm. The Tansao concept is the forearm. The hand is irrelevant. Don't get stuck on shapes. Tansao is not this. Fuxao is not this. Bongsao is not this. Think of them as action terms or verbs. Tansao is this motion. Fuxao is this motion. Bongsao is this motion. It's not a shape. It's a response. It's an activity. So again, the hand is irrelevant, right? So Fuxao concept, there's really no Fuxao technique that I'm going to use against my opponent. So Fuxao concept, that forearm energy following the elbow line and going inward. So Fuxao concept could include a Zhongzao that sinks, a Jutsao that jerks, a Paksao that goes forward. You can see all these are obviously our Fuxao concept. Now it's towards center, right? So even if I start here, I come back towards center, that's still Fuxao concept. So that includes my Lapsao now, or a Jumsao coming this way. Remember from our Silin Tao form? Here to Jumsao, that Jumsao is coming, if I'm pressed, coming on the outside inward towards my center. That's still Fuxao concept. Okay? So what's Bongsao? Right? If you think in terms of directions, well, that's going forward and kind of corkscrewing. Bongsao is the only technique that does that. So it can't be a family of techniques. What is important here is what's happening with the elbow. Bongsao family of techniques are those techniques where the elbow departs from the elbow line that we learned in the first section of the Silin Tao. Anytime now I lift my elbow off that line, that's Bongsao family. Bongsao is just the most obvious, right? Bongsao. But I lift my elbow off that line when I do a Busao. I lift my elbow off that line when I block with a Foxao. Anything that lifts my elbow up, departing from that line we learned right in the first part of the Silin Tao form, that's Bongsao family. So now that starts to make more sense to me. As a concept, we should be able to apply it more broadly. So can I punch with a Tansao concept? Heck yeah. Remember on our dummy, the dummy form, we come around the corner like this. That's, if I'm doing an excluding punch from the outside, remember it's going away from my center. I'm punching with Tansao concept. Right? It's almost like a Tansao, but it's a punch. So that works. Same way, if I'm coming in, I can do an excluding punch this direction. So now I'm almost doing a Fuxao or a Paksao, a Jumsao, whatever, Fuxao concept, but I punch. So I can punch this direction, Fuxao punch, Tansao punch. Well, how about Bongsao concept? Bongsao concept just means my elbow comes off the line. This includes Lansao from the second form, and so I can punch with that, right? That's punching with Bongsao concept because my elbow's off the line. How about palm strikes? I can palm strike with Tansao concept. Remember this section from the form, heck, that's almost a palm strike already. So if I'm coming in like this and I make it a palm, that's a palm strike with Tansao concept. Palm strike with a Fuxao concept we do in the dummy form all the time. Coming up like that is a palm strike with a Fuxao concept. Palm strike with a Bongsao concept is in the first section of the first form. Remember, we finish our action, we come here, we come to center, and then we do that straight palm. Well, why did we do that in the first form? Palm is right up the middle, my elbow is high, so that's if something's coming at me, straight at me, and I palm strike, I've lifted my elbow, I've excluded it out, I've blocked it, at the same time I've hit the guy. That's a palm strike with the Bongsao concept. So you can see how this starts to fit. The important thing here is thinking about the elbow in relation to the line and how you're powering it. In the Silin Tao form, everything is static, and we're learning this line, and we're learning to couple our elbow with our hip to generate power. So we're just learning to keep that alignment. We're building that structure. And at first, Silin Tao is done with the still body, but later on we can learn that we can put more body action into some of these actions to get more power from them, right? We can start to use our waist. The Chum Q form now is all about doing that when we step and when we have motion. And Bongsao is such a big feature in the Chum Q form because my elbow is departing from the line. It's Bong Sao concept, right? And that makes it more difficult to couple my elbow with my hip. So if I can get that down in my Chum Kiu form, how to couple my hip and my elbow with all these motions, then if my elbow is up, then it becomes easy to do it when my elbow is down, right? Boom! That becomes second nature. So think of this in terms of what the elbow is doing in relation to the line, and then you've got it. Outward from center is Tan Sao concept, inward from center is Fuk Sao concept, and the elbow coming off the line is Bong Sao concept. And I think that's probably the most useful way to see this, more than thinking of it in terms of where you're contacting on your arm.